Welcome to Medical Marijuana and Wellness. Today we're going to get inside the label. We're going to take a look at understanding certificates of analysis. When you go to a dispensary, whether that's online or physically in a dispensary itself, you see a number of products and there's a number of attributes given to these products. So let me give you an example. This is Air Dispensary that has products that include not only vape cartridges, whole flower, chews, crumbles, Rick Simpson oil, and also vapes. And you'll notice that there is a profile that shows the amount of THC and CBD, as well as the terpene profiles of each of these particular products. Now, there's two questions that come into play. First question is, what is the profile of the particular product I'm buying? What are the cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids that are available in that particular product? And secondarily, some people have a particular focus on a couple of terpenes that'll help them with their condition. So you want to be able to know if the product you're looking at has those terpenes in it. And both of those questions can be answered by taking a look at what they call the certificate of analysis. Now, what is a certificate of analysis? Medical marijuana dispensaries are required to have what they call a certificate of analysis, or a COA. But what that does is that details the specific batch of medical cannabis product and gives you a description and also the testing that's been done on that particular product. That is done by what they call a certified marijuana test lab, which is a CMTL, and the results are for the final product that is tested. Now, these particular COAs have multiple pages. They can have between 2 to 5 pages, but the page we're paying attention to is the summary page, the first page, because that gives us a lot of the information we need to answer the questions that we brought up earlier. So let's start with the first thing we're looking at here. The first thing we're looking at is what they call the product name. You can see that over here. That's on a certificate of analysis. And also you want to pay attention to the batch number. You want to know that the product that you're being tested does match the certificate of analysis from a batch standpoint. It's important to point out that a lot of hemp products that you'll find on the market have QR codes on the side of the product, and they point you to a COA, but the COA is either A, out of date, meaning it's more than a year old, and B, doesn't give you fine details, doesn't give you the terpenes, for example, and the environmental factors. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to what they call the sampling date. When was that product actually tested? And typically you want to get a COA that the product has been tested within the last 90 days. Now, the other thing we want to take a look at is what they call the route of administration. And what that means is, how are you actually using the product? And that's what this identifies right here. Route of administration could be a tincture, flower, edible, vape cartridge, capsule, concentrate, patch, lotions, and balms. But what the COA does is it identifies the actual product that you're buying and gives you the details for that particular product. Now, what we're looking at specifically is we're also looking at the product type. And what we mean by that is there are different types of cannabis. They have attributes, and the attributes can be physically sedating, which they call indica. They can also be uplifting, which they call sativa, or it can be hybrid, which is a combination of both. What's happening today is a lot of the dispensaries are building what they call, or creating what they call cultivars. And these are strains of cannabis that are being bred with the cannabinoids and the terpenes for a specific purpose. For example, like pain management, like sleep, or for arthritis. And you'll find out what it is, what kind of a product it is, the product type, with this particular moniker right here. Now, the other thing we want to pay attention to is what's the product type? And by that, we mean, what is the potency of the particular product? Here, you're taking a look at what the cannabinoids are: THC, CBD, CBC, CBN, etc. And we find that right in here. And you'll notice that it lists all the cannabinoids that are in the product, and it lists by the amount and the percentage that's in the product itself. The other thing we're looking for is the terpene content. And this is very, very key, because this is where the medical efficacy comes in the medical marijuana product. And here you'll see that all the terpenes that are in this particular product are listed, and again, by the amount and by the percentage that you'll find in the product itself. This is where you find your myrcenes, your caryophyllanes, linalols, limonene, the whole terpene profile that's there. And that potency, as well as the terpene profile, makes up the fingerprint, or what the product can do to help you with your particular medical condition. The other thing that's really critical about the certificate of analysis is what we call safety screenings. They actually list the mycotoxins, contaminant levels, pesticides, molds, etc. What is the environment that the product was made in? Has it been tested, and did it pass? And this is very, very important, because you want to have cannabis made from a clean environment. You want to get the safest possible product out there. Also, as I pointed out earlier, in many cases, these certificates of analysis will have multiple pages. The one we really focus in on a lot of times is the first page, but there's a lot of good details that you'll find in the particular products themselves. So how do you read a product when you buy a product? If I went and bought, for example, a vape pen, that's Midnight Berry here from Air, you'll find that the route of administration is listed here. It's a vape product. It's an indica, which is nice to know. We know that the potency is 93.2%. That's indicated here. And this is actually a very potent product. This is a very good product to take a look at. It has a lot of CBG, CBN in it, THCV. Good product. The other thing we're looking at here is the terpene content, which again, the terpene content is 4.69%, and that's fairly high. You look at like a good quantity of limonene, beta-caryophyllene, that type of thing, and you're seeing that right in here. Now you'll notice that the terpene levels are a lot less than the cannabinoid levels. That's because terpenes are very, very powerful. Don't worry about the fact that your terpene level is between 3 and 7%, typically 5% in the middle. They are very powerful, and they'll provide that medical efficacy that you're looking for from medical cannabis itself. Thank you for watching this video. I might remind you that this video, as well as other videos on medical marijuana, can be found on our YouTube channel. That's YouTube at Marijuana Aware. You'll find it very interesting to help you with your particular journey through medical cannabis. We also have, if you're looking at getting actual medical cannabis products, I recommend Air as well as Cetera. These are quality dispensaries. Looking at getting a medical marijuana card, I suggest MMTC of Florida. Not only do they have 23 locations here in the state of Florida, they also do a great job of not only getting you a card, but also walking you through the medical cannabis journey. So not only can you use medical cannabis effectively, both from an efficacy standpoint and also from a cost standpoint. And please join us for our future webinars coming up. We have the Theragels next week, plus live rosins, microdosing for pain management, fibromyalgia, and Ask the Expert. Again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us for future webinars.